Okay, you guys, I'm thrilled with today's guest because not only is he a creative director, artistic director, Emmy Award nominated choreographer and dancer, but he's had, I think, probably the greatest 2020 out of any of us. So please welcome Jemel McWilliams. How are you?
What's up? What's up? Thank you so much. I'm well. I'm well today.
You're pretty well this year, let's be honest, because this has been a pretty great 2020. I know we're all kind of swamped in an election cycle and COVID, but overall, if you look back on this 2020, this is going to be a good year for you.
Yeah, it is. And you know what's so funny? Amidst everything that's going on, I have this thing. I said it last year I had this huge party last year for my birthday, that I just affirm that every year is better than the year before, right? And so for me, that feels like progress. And so, yeah, I'm just continuing on that path. So this year I've been blessed to continue to work through the pandemic. You know, I've had my lows for sure, as we all have. And I've shared in that with everyone, but hopefully I've been able to continue to inspire joy and just hope through the fact that I've been able to continue to work and I've been able to stay connected to the community through work in different ways. So, and then obviously the Emmy nomination happening this year, which was crazy.
Icing on the cake. Let's talk about that because I always like to hear the process, and it really doesn't get to be a bigger stage than the Oscars, maybe the Super Bowl because that's sports, but when it comes to the entertainment community, the Oscars is the end goal, I think, for everyone in the industry. You worked with Janelle Monae, which was incredible. This was the opening, set the tone for the entire show. What was this collaborative process like? Because this is not something you just kind of throw together.
It is not. It is something that we started in 2018. Wait, this is 2020. So in 2019, December, I've been doing artistic direction choreography with Janelle for years now, live show artistic direction. And so we were on vacation, hanging out, and she was like, Mel, come here. I just want to, talk to you about something. I was like, what's up? Thinking we're just talking about what we're going to do, what we having for dinner. And she was like, so, we could possibly, definitely, for sure, be doing the Oscars this year. And I was like, what? Doing the what? Doing the what? What? So instantly, at that moment, that's when it starts. So, she and Wonderland had already started ideating ideas. Then I came in and I started contributing my thoughts and perspective. And then from there, we just continued to build, and then we connect with the producers of the show and start to understand what the show needs, because it's an opening number. So an opening number, and this was sans monologue, sans a lot of the things that traditionally open the Oscars to set the tone. So we had one performance to do 20,000 things and check 20,000 boxes for both production and then obviously for us as artists to make sure that it was true to who Janelle Monae and her brand is.
This is a really good question, I think, for you, because the Academy has a very has an idea of what the show should look like. So of course, Janelle has her ideas, but they also have some ideas themselves. How were you able to merge the two of these together? Because I think that's really important in the vision.
Love. Doing everything with love and with grace. Yes, you're right. The Academy has very specific, perspective on what their brand is and how their brand needs to be presented. And it's technically their show. But then also, again, on Janelle's side, and I'm here to represent her in these meetings or on these calls. So let's just say every morning, starting around 7:30, my phone was blowing up with producers saying, well, let's talk about this and let's talk about this. And so how will this work? And, so there's just a lot of communicating, but it's a lot of, again, working together. And that's why I say through love, because everybody compromise, everybody understands each other's perspective and each other's needs and each other's boundaries. And from there, we just continue to build. So it's a collaborative process that just needs to happen all through literally compromise and working together.
I love that. I've worked a lot at the Dolby Theater. The theater was built for television. I don't know if a lot of people realize that. One of my favorite aspects of what you guys did was bringing everyone out to the audience, because that's a deep stage and people
Yeah.
can get lost on it. But bringing the audience or this performers to them, I think made a
Yeah.
huge impact in that theater.
Well, it's funny. You know, I had been told, I don't know about people in the audience per se. We had been told, I don't know about people in the audience per se. This crowd is very different. This crowd is pretty stiff, like they don't necessarily want people too close to them. And it's just like, hey guys, this is who we are. We are an interactive, immersive performance in everything we do. Everything we do, we want to make sure that everyone feels included in some type of way. And so if that means we got to come out to the audience and be in your face and be like, to make you feel it, then that's what we're going to do. But either way, we're going to get you to be a part of this moment with us. And so regardless who it was, we were just going to go in there and do what we do. And that's what we did. And one of those things is to go and get into the faces of the people in the audience and bring you on this joy ride with us.
It worked very well because it created layers. You have people on the stage, you have people on the steps, you have people in the audience. You had, I love the overhead shot on Janelle as she's on the floor. I was thinking that is utilizing all of the space available.
Well, if you pay attention to the majority of my work, like that's one of the key things to a lot of my work is there's a lot of layers. So you can go back and look at Lizzo's Grammy performance. And even though, again, everything is subject to how the director ultimately shoots it. Yes, in camera blocking, we go through certain things and I give notes. I'm like, wait, make sure you catch this so you can see the 4 layers that I created for this. Or make sure you catch this because this sets us up for that. But if you look through a lot of my work, like you'll see that there are tiers. Even Janelle Monae's BET Awards performance from a few years ago, like it's super layered. Even in the opening shot, it's like 12 different things happening at once. And I don't know, I love that. It just feels like it's allows room for discovery, and an audience member can go back and watch it over and over and over again and say, oh, I never saw that part. Oh, I didn't see them doing this in the background,
Well, I have an appreciation for that. I'm a big fan of sort of layers and levels and what is your eye catching this time? You watch it a third time. Oh, I didn't even notice this over here. So
Yep.
Bravo. I definitely want, I find your career so fascinating because you're working with top level artists consistently, whether it's Janelle, whether it's Lizzo, whether it's John Legend. But going back and doing some research on you, I love the fact that Alicia Keys was kind of the person who opened a lot of doors for you and that particular job. What literally unlocked the key in your career where you kind of like moved up in the ranks? Was there like an aha moment, as Oprah always says?
What's so funny? It took me a long time. Okay, so my journey, I started as a dancer, and then simultaneously at some point I started like showing that I had perspective in movement and perspective, because while I was pursuing dance, I had to take care of myself, right? Because I was already a college graduate, 2 degrees, but my heart was not in corporate America and management information systems. And I tried it for a year, did not work. I was like, this is not going to work. They're going to fire me just because I don't care. I don't care. So something has to give. So I started actually teaching in the high schools, and me teaching in the high schools, that opened up me being like, oh, okay, I actually have a perspective in choreography and stage direction and just directing in general. So simultaneously, while I was doing that, I also was beginning my dance career like as a professional. Mm-hmm. And so I'm working with the kids on one end, really building and crafting, and little did I know I was honing my skills as a choreographer and a director, a creative director, artistic director, and just director. So that was happening. And then once I started working with my sister and great friend Luam, she brought me in and she saw my perspective and was like, wait, you actually have really good thoughts on choreography. Here, come assist me on some stuff. And from there, we started really building together. And I worked with her for almost 7 years. And what happened was, well, almost 9, but at 7 years, I was like, I feel like at some point I'm gonna need to say fully what I need to say through movement and through dance and through direction, right? Because respecting where I am. If I'm even moved to associate choreographer, and there were moments we co-choreographed some things, but still I wasn't like the choreographer. And so it took me a while. I don't think I had like a aha moment and it was like, tomorrow I am that. It took me a while to stand on my own. Right. It took me a while to really believe in myself enough to say, wait, no, your perspective is valued and you can do this on your own. And your perspective is needed. I think once I got into the place where I realized that what I had to uniquely bring was needed in the community and was needed for certain artists that were aligned for me, that's when I was like, okay, I gotta just have a conversation. And from the conversation, it was, okay, I'm jumping out there on my own. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Am I gonna fall? Am I gonna fly? And I flew, you know, and it was just one day I did it and I just flew.
What was the first job that you did solo that you felt like I made the right decision?
Oh, I would say, so on Alicia, while with Alicia, Alicia, because I toured with her and I was doing movement coaching for her and I was the associate choreographer and associate artistic director, she and I had a really close relationship. And after touring, a couple things, she wanted me to just come in and be her person, to vibe with her. So I had some solo choreography moments with Alicia, but for me, that was still within the jurisdiction of, you know, the setup that was already there.
The umbrella that you were under.
The umbrella that I was under. So even though that was me by myself, it was still under the umbrella. So I still felt that safety net. The first time I did an award show performance where I had no one but me. So if it fell, it completely fell flat on me, was Jadena's BET Awards performance. And that year I was working on 3 other performances on the BET Awards as an associate choreographer. I thought that I was going to go crazy. I didn't sleep for like 4 days straight because I also got Jadena's performance. I got that performance 3 days before it needed to air. So my schedule is already packed. I'm already in rehearsals. Now we're all actually moving to camera block. So I'm already in the week of camera blocking. So my time is crazy. So my only times to rehearse with my people for Jadena's performance that just came to me was from like 11 p.m. to like 3 a.m. in the morning, but then having to be on calls and back on set by 7 a.m.
And by the way, make it look good because, by the way, it's your stamp all over that performance.
And like, and even for myself, even beyond what other people might feel, for myself, this is my first time really saying, Jemel, if you say you want to do this, then you got to pull up the bootstraps and do it. You know what I mean? So for myself, I wanted to be happy with it completely within myself to feel like, okay, you made the right decision. And when it came off, and I mean, to the point that I had to be on stage for another performance. I didn't even get to watch Jadena's performance tape. I was able to be there just for the camera blocking, for all the rehearsals, for everything, but I didn't get to see it tape. But when I got to watch it back, I was like, oh, I'm so proud of this. God, I don't know how this worked out, how this happened. So that was like my first award show performance where I jumped out there on my own. And then from there, all the Janelle Monae dirty computer stuff, you know, gave me really good footing in this space. And since then, it just hasn't stopped.
You've been a game changer in terms of award shows, especially Lizzo. We've talked so much about body positivity in dance. And I found it so interesting. I remember watching those Instagram posts of like, dancers, where are you at? Because you were calling agencies saying, I want girls that have curvy figures. I want these beautiful bodies on stage. And they weren't sending you that. It's still shocking to me in that we're here, you know, 2018, 19, 20. We're still discussing this, but it still exists.
It was baffling to me that I put out agency calls. This was my first couple times around because it took a couple times before it changed, but I put out agency calls and I would get like 1, maybe 2 submissions. And then any that sent me more than 2, they were maybe, and I was asking for full figured curvy women, and they would send me women who were like a size 4. And I was like,
That's so
Wait, no, no,
curvy.
no, no, no. You have to have like full figure. You know, this world is full of diverse sizes. So I'm sure we have some diverse sizes because I even see diverse women in these dance classes. So of course you represent them, no? And they're like, yeah, no, we don't actually represent any of them. And I'm like, not one? Not one? You know, so yeah, it was that's when we went on online and put out the mass call, and we just wanted to see whoever, and we just had an open call for whoever. So I did one in New York and I did one here in LA, and so many people came and were just like, thank you for just, regardless whether I get this or not, I'm not even typically allowed in the audition room because I'm typecasted out before I even get a chance to show that my dance ability can allow me, or my dance ability affords me like space in this room. Like I actually deserve to be in this room. I'm just as great of a dancer as the other ones, but I get typed out because I'm above a certain size. And so, you know, that was one of the most rewarding, eye-opening revelations that I've been able to experience in my entire career. Like, wow, it's a whole group of people who are deserving and are ostracized and not allowed, and marginalized and not allowed. So it felt good over these last like year and a half to just, you know, it was challenging because again, these are dancers who have never had this opportunity. So therefore they don't have that experience, though they might have the skill set to technically, emotionally, vibrationally deliver the performance. They don't have the experience. That's just the reality of it, you know? And so throwing them into VMAs and Grammys and it's like high ticketed moments. It's like the opening of it, you know what I mean? Or you're with the biggest artist of the year, you know? That's a lot of pressure, particularly for people who have not been given an opportunity to get those nerves out, you know what I mean? But it was so rewarding, and it's extra uber rewarding to see that the industry has changed. And I've declared it that it's changed and it's never going backwards. From that point forward, now agents are calling saying, hey, I'm having an audition today and we're auditioning for all. Can you take a look at some of our full figure dancers that come through and let us know whether you think that they, you know, this is new for us. So let us know whether you think that they can work, whether you would potentially hire them, yada, yada, yada. You know what I mean? So to just know that now we have opened up the doors and kicked down some of those doors, it feels like a blessing.
That's good. It's a conversation that, boy, was long overdue, honestly. And I hope we keep having this conversation because I don't want us to think, well, we opened a door. No, you have to keep opening those doors.
Absolutely. We need to shatter the doors. Like there just doesn't need to be any closed doors. There don't need to be any doors. Let's just open the door and give everybody an opportunity and let the spirit and the energy, if the people who are behind, look at me, I just got riled up.
I love this.
If the people who are behind the table have the proper intentions, which is to select the best person, the person that's going to move you emotionally, the person that's going to move people around the world, whether it's from commercial to sell a product or whether it's with an artist to support a vision, like allow the people who have the heart for it, who have the skill set for it, to get this opportunity to move you. You know what I mean? And I believe that if your heart is set on the right path and your heart is really there for the right intentions, then what size someone is will not exclude them from these opportunities.
And that's what moves you. It's not the person who can do the 50 pirouettes. It's the person who has the heart and the emotion that you think, I could watch them dance over and over. And I sometimes like a little more raw technique, honestly.
Right.
Because there's abandon with it.
Yeah, there's a freedom. I mean, there's certain dancers that I just love to watch, and they are not the most technically sound, but dance is literally their language. You can tell it's a love language for them, for sure. You know what I mean? Like it's how they communicate. It's how they free themselves. It's how they it's how they like release. You know what I mean? And you can tell the difference. And those are the dancers that you put them aligned with other technically savvy dancers, and there's just something about you that you just keep looking over here and you don't know why, and you're like, but they're not technically sound, But wow, it's something about it. It's because the energetic vibration of your truth and your authentic self is connecting with that, and you're feeling that, and you're like, I see you, because you are me at night when no one else is around, and I'm not putting on for anyone. You know what I mean? Or you're me when I'm in the room by myself, or I just got out of the shower and I'm feeling great today and I'm dancing around and I've just completely reckless abandonment. Like, you are me. I can feel me and I connect with you better than that person who can do 20,000 pirouettes that most people in the world can't do.
That's right.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's a really great point, and I wish we would focus in sometimes more on the art and then just say, technique is good, don't get me wrong, but
Right.
but
But
there's a big but to that conversation. So I appreciate your thoughts on that. This year obviously been great for you, but been weird for you, although you've worked through this. So can you kind of explain what the pandemic has looked like for you over the last 7-8 months?
wow, yeah, like, you know, it between the pandemic and then what's going on just in the state of America right now, and me as a Black man, as a Black creative, you know, this has all been a lot. It's just been a lot in general. And then the pandemic. So for me, yes, I have had to, but I've grown a lot. I've had to really settle in on things that I can do daily to keep my mind centered, to keep my breath flowing, to keep my anxiety down, because I had some days where the anxiety was extra high. And then, you know, I've learned to wake up in the mornings and do my prayers, or be more consistent. So this is a daily thing. My prayers, I am obsessed with forgiveness. So I forgive myself for anything that threw me off of my progressive state, and then I forgive anyone else around me, and then I just start giving thanks, and I just get into the space of gratefulness. And I know it sounds very hippie and ethereal and all of this, but I'm telling you, it has been the only thing that has kept me sane during all of this, you know. And so that, coupled with still continuing to work, you know, I've been fortunate to do John Legends. I was a performance producer on his ABC Father's Day special, and a number of all of his performances. He's had a lot of performances because he has a new album, Bigger Love, out. And then Janelle Monae did a number of things, and then a few artists that I creative direct for, you know, still decided to release music. So slowly but surely, people were starting to open up. When it first started, everything stopped. I was in Houston with Lizzo, and we were about to do the Houston rodeo 2 days later. And so we were literally going to the venue that day. Like, we were done. We had been preparing for 3 weeks, and then we got a call. It was like, you guys have to get out of Houston right now. And we're like, wait a minute, no. Can we postpone that for just 2 days? A day and a half. Not even 2 full days, a day and a half, because at that second half of that day, we were done the performance. They was like, no, you got to go. It's a whole pandemic. So, yeah.
Bye.
But, right. And here we are 8 months later. But my heart, to be honest with you, I've been blessed, but my heart really does go out to the community, to the dance community. I've tried to do as much as I could on my end, with regards to like just helping out. I know Debbie Allen and Jaquel Knight did the dance-a-thon, you know, a few things. And then I had some moments with Janelle where I was able to help contribute some lunches, and then just obviously given as many jobs as I could. But it's been tough for the entire community. So I've just wanted to be here and support and encourage. So sometimes I'll just pick up the phone and call some of the dancers that I've worked with, and that are my dancers that, you know, I'm used to seeing throughout the year. And I just check in on them, see how they're doing, you know what I mean? And just make sure we support each other as best as we can during this time.
Have they stayed here in LA? Because I know of plenty, like a group of dancers who have kind of gone home for the time being, kind of waiting things out because things are expensive. And so
Yeah.
they're saving some money, and then they'll come back to LA or New York City as things start to open up a little bit more.
Yeah, it's been like both, a mixture of all. Some have left, and then a number have stayed here. They were in leases that they couldn't get out, or what have you, or they really just are like, I don't have anything else. I don't have anything to go. There's no go home for me. Like, I'd already established this was my life. You know what I mean? So those that are still here and are still trying to figure it out, we just try to stay connected as best as we can and support each other through it.
obviously we're coming back with TV, film, award shows. We're figuring out ways to do this. But when I think about live events and concerts, have you gotten a read as to when this is coming back? Because I know on the theater side, I feel like everything is fall 2021 in New York
Yeah.
City. I don't
Yeah.
know about concerts. How have you, what's your read on this?
In-person concerts, I would say conservatively fall 2021.
Mhm.
I wanted to say by spring so that we could, capitalize on the festival season. I know I have a few festival performances in the can, that festival shows in the can.
Ready?
Lizzo that year was supposed to be headlining. She was like the first woman headline Bonnaroo. Like we were so prepared. We were so prepared this year to just shatter even more doors. So and more ceilings. But John Legend, I know for sure, is going on his Bigger Love tour in the fall of 2021. And so far, it seems like everything is kind of gearing to fall 2021.
Yeah, I feel like that's what we're all hearing. How
Yeah.
should dancers prepare for this? Because I feel like there is going to be a time when it's like the floodgates open and dancers the calls are going to start happening again. The auditions will happen en masse, especially when world tours start going out and you need those dancers.
Yeah.
What do you
Well, I would
recommend?
say just stay prepared. I would say stay prepared, but I also think that just as a craftsman and as a lover of what you do, like we should stay prepared at all times. So continue to train, continue to stay in shape, whatever that shape is, stay in it, stay on top of your game so that you're not trying to play catch up when it's time, because that's how it's happening. That's how it's even been happening for me. Like during this pandemic, I was not down, but I wasn't working for like 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks. And then out of nowhere, boom, it's like 4 productions are like, yes, so we need you to, I'm like, wait a minute, y'all wasn't doing anything, wait a minute, let me like start.
Where'd you go?
Uh-oh, sorry, sorry.
I'm like,
Oh
where'd it
man,
go? This was a good moment.
I know, wait, are we editing this or is this
I
just
can
straight?
edit it. Although
Okay, all right, cool.
sometimes I have to be honest, sometimes I like the Zoom mishaps because I think that they're funny.
There we go, we're going
Totally
with it. So
authentic.
mishap, we back. Like that. Nobody been calling me all morning, and now they want to decide to call me when I have a Zoom interview. No. But yeah, so that's what happened. The calls just started coming out of nowhere, and I'm just like, whoa, 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 everybody slow down. And I was even to the point for myself, and this is why this is the advice that I give to other artists and performers, which is stay on it, because I allowed just the heaviness of the pandemic and everything that was going on to kind of get to me. And I was comfort eating and poor sleeping habits and just like staying in a worrisome state. And I was just like all over the place. And so when it was time, when work called, work wasn't like, here, let me give you a few days to kind of pull it back together. It was, yeah, so tomorrow send us some decks and let us know your thoughts. And I'm just like, whoa, I'm not even in a creative frame of mind right now. Like I've just been trying to hold myself mentally together. So that's when I really was like, okay, you have to establish some better practices daily, because this is not ending. You have there's a lot of things that you're processing daily. So what's your best way to process them? What's my best way to put them in a place where I can stay centered? And so when the calls come, I'm ready. When the opportunity knocks, I'm like, yep, I'm ready. I'm on my game. I'm back sharp. Like I didn't fall off for the last 7-8 months. So that's what I would say. Like, get on your game, get back on it. I don't care if you have been off for 7-8 months and you haven't done a dance class. I'm not even saying it has to be a class. Just do whatever internal work you need to do so that you are shining your brightest light. And so that if tomorrow the audition came, you felt like you would walk into that audition and you would represent yourself the best as you are and as your best.
That's great advice. It's great advice for everyone, no matter what industry you're in.
Right, right. It's been so much. I get it. Like I get it. That's what I'm saying. I'm a victim of it. Like, and I had to fast. I had to say, whoa, 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 pull it together. And so that's why if I could talk to myself pre-pandemic, I'd say, hey, Janelle, It's going to clear up in a little bit. Don't get too crazy. Just do your best to stay in here and just stay on your game.
That's great. No, I love that. You know, one idea, I was just thinking about this because we kind of talked about it a few minutes ago, but, you know, talking about the Black Lives Matter movement and the dance industry, because I've been processing all of this and thinking about ways, like on the media side, how can we best support Black artists, choreographers, dancers in ways that we haven't done before? And I'm always, you know, seeking new stories to tell, but how can I do this even better? Any suggestions?
You know, thank you. First of all, thank you for caring about it, and thank you for doing it previously. And I just think that just representation matters, you know, and pardon me, you got me all choked up. No, I'm just excuse me. Yeah, representation just matters to me, and a lot of times, like, I don't think that anyone is looking for any type of handout. Right. So for me, I was shocked that I was nominated for an Emmy, you know, because I did the research, and it was 1988 since the last Black person won an Emmy, like one in this category, in this choreography category. Yeah. And so, what ends up happening is you become a little discouraged, and in order to continue to move beyond that, though, and not stay in a place of discouragement and a place of wanting something that doesn't seem like it's really attainable for you, you just go and you just continue to do it, right? And you do it out of the love of doing it. And that's what I've always done. So to be recognized and acknowledged, and for my work to be put on a platform like this, I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy. I didn't expect that. So I think that the more we just highlight these artists, highlight Black artists, highlight Black creatives, who are doing it, and the more we make that more normalized, rather than it's having to be done out of a lack of, you know, I think that that'll just open things up, and then it'll just allow the creativity to speak for itself, allow the art to speak for itself, because that's the thing for me, like, regardless of any relationships or politics or anything, I'm so proud of the work that I do, and I just wanted to get to the masses of the world. You know what I mean? And so if there are people out there who are actually saying, hey, there are a lot of underrepresented artists, a lot of underrepresented creatives, because it just hasn't been a space that has oftentimes propelled them and projected them forward. Let me go actually do extra legwork to grab some of their art, to grab them, bring them forward, and give them a platform for more exposure. You know what I mean? And then let people decide what they love and what they don't. And I'm just sure of it. That's how sure I am. That's what I'm saying. It's not a handout. It's just, hey, open up the space, open up the floor, give more people the floor. And in this initial stage, we do need to do extra to make sure we're giving the floor so we can even it out more. And then from there, let everybody's art just speak for itself.
That's right. It'll be allowed to flourish in a natural way.
In a natural way.
Yeah.
But to get there, we do need the extra support, because systemically it hasn't been carved into the infrastructure of mostly anything in this space.
Well, I want to tell you something right now, because I've covered your particular category since 2014, and it never rang a bell that we haven't seen a Black winner since 1988. I'm going to guess it was Miss Debbie Allen as well.
I want to say, ooh, it wasn't Debbie Allen. It was one other person. My agent told me, and I would be so remiss if it was 1998, but I'm 99.9% sure it was.
I'll double check on the facts and the stats on that, but it's going to send me down a rabbit hole of research, which is great. I love this.
Yeah.
Because Ms. Allen has the record in this category. She's been nominated 11 times, but yeah. I was thinking, my goodness, that is way too long to see something like that. So you just gave me an idea, like, for the entire Emmy season, stories to talk about, like, why haven't we seen this? Because all
Yes.
we know that there are incredible BIPOC creators and choreographers
Yes.
in this industry. So
Yes.
I'm glad I asked the question. I'm glad this kind of sparked a discussion.
Yeah. And thank you.
That's
And
something
thank
that I
you
wasn't
for,
aware of.
yes. And thank you for championing that, because, you know, not a lot would, you know, not a lot really care. Because it's like, oh, well, Debbie Allen has 11 and she's amazing and she's iconic. And she is actually literally like one of the people that I look up to the most. But there are a plethora of others who should be allowed, and that's been the problem just in Hollywood for so long. You've had like you've had your Denzel Washington, you've had your you know
Halle
Felicia
Berry.
Rashad, your Halle Berry. You know, you've had your select few that were allowed to play all the roles and do all the things because they've been garnered as acceptable. But let's not do that. Let's just, who is great for the role, period. Who brings forth the art in a way that's compelling, moving, and provocative. Let's go with that, you know. And I think if we did that, there would be so much more organic diversity out there.
I love that. Okay, great. I'm writing all these notes and I'm going to keep them all for next Emmy season, because I do think people need to be aware. We need to discuss this. We need to make the TV Academy and the voting body also aware of this, because that's important.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
That's so great. One final question for you.
Okay.
I didn't expect it to take, see, I'm like, I do very organic. I'm like, if we turn left, we're going to go there.
Hey, let's go.
Let's do it. But just, you know, you've had such a great year here in 2020. And obviously the pandemic changed all of our plans and how that path we were on. What are your next dance goals in the industry? Maybe they've shifted a little bit, maybe they're the same, but what have you yet to achieve that we need to hear about and you're going to throw out to the universe?
I'm pretty private usually, but you got me. You know what? You got me with the throw out to the universe thing, because I 100% believe in that.
Speaking
you know, I look forward to directing my own award show performances. So far, and my own performance, because I'm already a director, right? And so you come and watch my live shows, like, you know, and the live shows that we get to film, I'm a happy man, because as a creative, I created it. And I also have a director's eye and director's perspective. And so I'm able to direct it because I know what performance was created. You know, I know when I want it to be silent, when I want it to be focused on the artist, when I want it to be focused on the dancers, when I want it to all come together. You know, like, I really craft it out. Like, I'm that guy who paints pictures, and I hope that in my pictures you can come. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm that guy. Yeah, again.
It was
see,
so
it just
visual. Comes. Like you were painting pictures, and then I got your picture.
And then I just freeze.
I get your actual picture on Zoom.
Oh, my picture. Okay. Yeah. So I paint pictures. Was the long story short, and but within that, like, I'm telling a story. And so I would love, and I look forward, because I believe that it's going to happen, especially now that you forced me to put it out into the universe. I believe that it's going to happen. Opportunities to really, from beginning to end, tell my story, and have more say so, direct, not just have more say so, direct the actual cameras for some of these award shows. And I just feel like that's just gonna be my best performance, because I won't feel like any moment was missed, because in every performance, and that's just what live TV is, but every performance I'm like, oh, we missed that, you know. And any director out there that I've worked with in the past, and it's a bunch of you guys, thank you, I love you, you were great, but nonetheless, I would like the opportunity to do it.
All right, we threw it out to the universe, so I'm going to look forward to it in 2021. All right.
That's right.
I love it. Well, Jemel, this has been such a great conversation, super insightful, and you're an absolute delight. So I'm so glad we met today.
Thank you. Likewise. I feel like, you know, we're just at home. Like, hey, can you grab me some water?
I know I do have some water here I can share with you, but
right. Thanks. I'm here on my ginger ale.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, congratulations and again, and I really look forward to seeing what's next because I have a feeling we're going to be hearing a lot from you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I hope so.
Thank you.
Have a great one.
You too.